Hey everybody, welcome back to Photographer Life Check. I'm your host Qurissy, and today I have my second Chicago native with me. I'm so happy.
Cause
I feel
period.
like I'm back at home. We have the incredible cinematographer Kayla Sullers. Brr, 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 brr.
Bro.
Blup, 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 blup.
How you
Kayla, thank you
doing?
so much for being here.
Thank you for calling on me to be here, period. Because this is a big deal. I am a true supporter of anybody that creates platforms for behind the scenes folks like myself. So shout out to you for
Yes.
creating this establishment.
Oh my, thank you so much. It was so beautiful. I mean, I found your work years ago. I'm pretty sure through Black Women Photographers Collective, but also off the simple fact that you from Chicago, which we got to get into because right now I'm
Absolutely.
based in LA and I've been out here for a couple years, but as a true Chicagoan, I can't shut up about it. I can't shut up about being
Exactly.
from Chicago.
It's a
So
personality trait.
anytime, okay, literally. So anytime somebody else is like, "Oh, do you know this person? They from Chicago?" Naturally, you came up, and so you've been on my list for
That's
a
cool.
minute, girl. So
That
I'm just
feels
so
good.
happy that, girl, everything fell into place, and I'm finally being able to meet you and talk to you and like really get into all the things.
Absolutely. See, I'm big on God's timing. And like I've been a fan of your work for a while now. So like everything
Thank
happens
you.
in God's timing and in the right alignment. So I'm excited for this chat. I'm excited for this
Come
conversation.
on. Okay, beautiful. So, how I like to start off photographer life check is with a little photographer fit check.
Okay.
Now, you know, so my dream, my goal for the podcast is to be in person so
Mhm.
we could really get into all the details. But
Exactly.
we got to start off somewhere. So while we're virtual, I won't have you get up or nothing. But for
Okay.
the photographer fit check, you could just talk about either like your shirt,
Okay.
any jewelry, something like that,
Okay.
and let us know what you're wearing.
Okay. So I'll be because I was prepared to show the whole fit head to toe.
Oh,
But
period. Come on,
what?
let's go.
Let me know. Okay, so I'll go into the shirt real quick. So right now I'm wearing my polo Ralph Lauren.
Period.
Yes. So
Yes.
this came directly from my stepfather, God rest his soul, Armand McWilliams. And Rod
Come
was his
on.
stage name. He was a poet, a MC, a writer, educator, so much in the Chicago community. Shout out to him. Before he
Oh my
passed away,
God.
he passed from cancer. And
Mm.
before he passed, he always been Polo King. Like he always been obsessed with Polo Ralph
Come
Lauren.
on, Polo King.
But because the cancer was getting at him, he wasn't able to fit his older clothes. So he bought a whole bunch of
Mm.
smaller polo sizes, and then he went so soon, then left the whole wardrobe to me. So now I'll be rocking the polo in his legacy. So I wear
Come
it nicely.
on.
Okay.
Yes, inheritance.
Yes.
That's what I like to
Yes.
hear. Wait, can you give us his name again? For all of our conversations, I love to leave like any of the resources, the gems we drop for people to go
Yes.
back and look up.
So
So can you give me his artist name?
his artist name was Armin Ross. So ArmenRah. He was a well-known poet in Chicago in the underground community. Worked with artists like Black Ice and all that good stuff. And
Hey,
yeah, it's a household name.
beautiful. Y'all definitely gonna see what we can find on Sir Armin Ra. I really appreciate that.
Yes.
Photography check for me, y'all might think is basic. We ain't got nothing going on. I got the Adidas suit, but the shirt is really where it's at because Uniqlo makes the best basics. I love their basics so bad. Get you a little crew from Uniqlo is clean.
I
My
gotta tap in
favorite.
here. I need to
Come
tap
on,
in.
any basic. I love them so bad. It's like really good, thick quality.
I was gonna ask, is it the thick cotton where you just feel good in it?
Yes,
All right.
exactly.
Say
And
less.
come on, cotton, natural fibers only over here. Let's go.
Yes.
Beautiful. Okay, so let's get into the photographer life check. For
Yes.
those who don't know, photographer life check is just a life check in. It could be career based, personal based, or just where you are today. So, real quick check in. How you feeling? Where you at?
Man, I just turned 25 last
Hey,
Sunday.
I did just
Yes.
see you had a birthday.
Thank
Happy birthday.
you. Man, I am it's crazy because the before the actual birthday, my birthday is March 2nd. So by March 1st, I just felt my frontal lobe just like really activating. It felt like something just connected and life is just like I don't know. It's like the Big Bang theory just happened in my brain. And
No, for real.
it's like I'm in this process of not only because I'm always working to better myself as a woman, and just overcome just my upbringing, my trauma that I've just experienced, and just my
Mm,
career and where I am today, and just reflecting on how far I've come. And I'm in this beautiful transition where I'm kind of in a season of isolation, but the season
mm,
of isolation is a part of me just like bettering myself. So it's like, who is going to be Kayla Simone Sullers 5 years from now? Because when 30 hits, that's
mm-hmm.
like, oh, this real life. We ain't playing no more.
Yeah.
This for real. And then what do I want my life to look like? What do I want my career to look like? And just like, who do I want to be surrounded by? So right now, prioritizing the unconditional love, prioritizing safe spaces. Like, I'm big on quoting Leon Thomas song, like, is this a safe space? Like, don't tell me
Come
this is
on.
a safe space. I'm moving
Okay.
around. But yeah, just like journaling, praying. I'm getting closer to God. I joined the church not long ago, and just trying
Mm.
to level myself out, because as I'm witnessing other people go through life, as I'm witnessing mentors and peers, it's like, okay, I'm taking everybody's lessons as a learning lesson. It's like, okay, how can I
Mm.
apply that to my day to day?
I mean, you locked in early, Kayla. Like, I hope you're really proud of yourself, even though, like, in those moments of isolation, it's an ebb and flow, of course. Like, I'm not trying to speak to you as if I know everything or have
Yeah,
experienced everything, but also have been in that era of my life. I'm sure there are more to come that will feel like that. And you really seem like you got not necessarily, not like specifically your head on straight, because that's the thing people always say, but it
yeah,
seems like you're walking through it with grace. And it is difficult to do. I mean, we talking about the traumatic things we live through, and that means we lose people on our journeys, and a
absolutely.
lot of those people are people we want to bring with us. It's a hard place to be, so I commend you on like the grace that you're just showing right now, being
Thank
vulnerable
you.
and like
It was
sharing
tough.
that that's even where you at.
Yeah, it is. I do. Oh my God. When I first got into therapy, my therapist was like, Kayla, I'm going to need you to get a shirt made, and I need you to write on it, give yourself grace. And
Okay.
every day I'm constantly like, okay, don't bash yourself. Don't put this on yourself. Hey, that's a lot of workload. Give yourself grace, Kayla. And
Mm.
constantly like, so I'm glad you said that. So that means it's working. Okay.
It's working, girl. It's showing up. Tell your therapist you're doing your job.
She's doing an
You're
amazing job.
completing
Shout
the
out to her.
homework.
Shout out to her too.
That's so real. Especially just thinking about, I mean, you're a filmmaker.
Mhm.
So we all know like those work days can be 16-hour days. And how you supposed to give yourself grace on a 16-hour day, babes? I have no sleep. I'm running on E.
It's crazy. It's like mentally preparing yourself. And then the biggest thing that I'm learning and coming across just working in this industry, even being in college, being a part of different organizations, if you don't have a
Hmm.
sense of self, it's challenging to get through any of those rooms. You need
Yeah.
to know who you are and be true to who you are, and don't change yourself for nobody else. Like when anybody meet me, I'm from the east side of Chicago. Like you ain't gonna take that from me
Period.
one way or another. I'm a proud east side Chicago girl. I didn't come
Shout out
from.
to Over East.
Right. Shout out to the East Side for real.
Yeah.
It's just like when I come in these rooms, I have to remind myself, and sometimes I find myself reminding others, but I'm like, I don't need to do that no more. But just reminding myself, like, okay, Kayla, you're here for a reason. You're not like them for a reason. You are one of one. Like, there's only one Kayla Simone Sullers. So walking into these rooms and have that mindset, it's like, okay, you're here to get the job done. 16-hour days. The longest I did was 20 hours in one day.
Girl,
Yeah.
stop.
Yeah.
Wait, what set is this?
This was on
Oh my God.
Candyman. Oh my gosh.
Oh
So
my
I was
God.
a part of the Candyman reshoot crew back in March 2020. I will never forget. I got the phone call. I was on campus, still in Grambling. I graduated from Grambling State University down in
Shout
Louisiana.
out to Grambling.
So I was on campus. I remember getting the phone call from Jason Bonner. Shout out to Jason Bonner. He called me like, "Hey, dude, we have a 7-day shoot. Come here to Chicago. We're filming Candyman. You could be our camera PA." So this was fresh months after doing Empire. I was a camera intern on Empire. And
Hmm.
I was like, yeah, I'll take a camera PA job. And it's Candyman, of course. Who wouldn't want to do it?
Yeah, of
I
course.
just remember the nearest airport getting from Chicago to from Louisiana. I had to drive 5 hours to Dallas, Texas. I had to get a homie. Shout out to my homie Lawrence. Drove me to Dallas, Texas.
Woo.
On
Shout out
our
to
way
Lawrence for
to
real.
the airport, we're getting emails from the university because we're on campus. We're in a bubble. We didn't know what was happening. They're like, hey, COVID is shutting down everything. So your Spring Fest, we usually do like a homecoming, but in spring. So they're like, yeah, Spring Fest
Yeah.
is canceled. The homecoming, like the step show canceled, everything canceled. We like, okay, this is weird. So as this is happening, I'm contacting the crew, like, hey, what's happening? They're like, hey, the best thing that you need to do is to be home right now. Just still come. So I remember getting on set and I
Whoa.
didn't know the world was shutting down. Cause also too, Empire was supposed to be having their rap party. And I was so excited. I'm like, we're
Mm.
gonna be at Tahoe or wherever. And that
Right.
got canceled. And I'm like, okay, this is getting serious. So next thing you know, a 7-day shoot got crammed into 3 days. And then the very last day, we had to
Whew.
do something called a double up unit. And a double up unit is when they have two of the same crew. So two. And I
Mm-hmm.
remember we were on a film studio stage and we were on two separate parts of the stage. So one crew was focusing on one thing and then the other crew was focusing on another. That's a whole lot to handle.
Yeah.
Which led to us having that long work day. I just remember I got bumped up to be a digital utility, which is how I got
Come
my
on.
name in the credits for Candyman, which is so cool.
Hey, yes.
I was 19 years old and I just remember being on that set. Like I remember Friday is when we started filming. Saturday we were getting the news that the world was shutting down. And then by Sunday, I had no car, I had no driver's license. Keep in mind, I had to fly there. All my stuff is at my dorm. I found out while we were filming that my dorm got shut down and we had to move out and
Whoa.
evacuate campus. So I will never forget. So Jason Bonner went and talked to one of my other coworkers, Trevor Snyder. Trevor, shout out to Trevor. They both were like, "Hey, we need to get this kid back home safe and get all her stuff from Louisiana." So after
Yeah.
doing 20 hours, I remember me and Trevor went home and took like 4 hours of a nap and then got on the road and drove 13 hours to pack up my dorm and come
Sheesh.
back to Chicago. And then I finished the rest of my semester at home in my bedroom. This is crazy.
Oh my God. I know y'all were exhausted.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
but what a time. And I actually never considered about like people who were literally in motion in transition as that was happening. Like, I was definitely like working or like with people, but I was stationary. I wasn't planning on leaving that day or nothing.
Yeah.
But my
I
goodness,
still don't
that
know
is
how we did it.
crazy.
I know Trevor was exhausted and he still bring it up to this day like, "Oh my god, Kayla, I did that." I'm like, "We did do that."
Yeah.
And just I remember just sleeping for days. Like I just got done filming the
Had
Nesby.
to.
Have you heard of Nesby before?
No, it's Nesby.
It's the National Society of Black Engineers. I just got introduced to it not
Ooh.
long ago. But I was contracted as their videographer this past week. And although that's like a conference, I was doing 13-hour days pretty much just filming. And we
Yeah.
got done Friday. When I tell you between Saturday and today, I just slept. I just been
I
sleeping.
know you did.
All I do is just sleep. I just be laid up and I sleep, take my melatonin, drink my tea, and I just sleep.
Out of there. I mean, how can you not? Y'all really put in so much work. I have some film experience. I was actually supposed to be in the art department for Candyman. And well, supposed to be is loose. I had the opportunity to go and it was literally starting the day I was supposed to move to LA. So it was
Wow.
like the decision was, do I like take this art PA job on Candyman or move to LA? And I just chose to move to LA. So was I supposed to be there? Maybe not, because I made this decision.
Right.
But I think it's so beautiful that also for this classic Chicago story, we got the classic Chicago remake still made in Chicago, and then the
Yes.
Chicago legend on set and had
Yes.
to go through all of that. Like, what a time. Oh my
Man,
goodness.
it's a part of the journey, man. I will never trade it for anything in the world. I have so many crazy stories where I look back and be like, yeah, that's not normal. And it's not an everyday
Nah, for
thing.
real. Right. And luckily, some of those stories are really positive, where it's like, wow, like what a blessing it is.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's how God got me, y'all. When I tell you he got me from the east side,
Okay.
he got me, I've been to China, he got me to Louisiana, all over the country. Like God got me. That's where I move
Period.
by God.
I love it. And it's also clear because I feel like you made history. I don't know if it's documented history, but it's history to me, babes, because there are only 113 Black women in the local 600, and you're one of them. Also, the
Yes.
youngest inductee
Yes.
at the time, at least. Maybe it's, some more people behind you already. But Do you feel like you made history? How is that being a part of like such a small group of Black women in this industry?
It's challenging. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It is extremely challenging. It's a lot of politics. It's a lot of moving behind the scene pictures and activities happening. But it's a rewarding feeling to know that I'm a part of, like, I call myself a change maker, and just hearing
Mm.
from a lot of my peers, my mentors, like, hey, we're pioneers. We're paving the way. So where the next generation come about, there's going to be more young Black girls, hopefully from the East Side, like me, that knows that this is
Hopefully.
possible.
Yeah.
Because I remember growing up, I used to go to the movies on 87th Street at a Chatham movie theater with my family, right there on the Dare
Mm-hmm.
Line, and we would always go to movies there. And I would always get mad because we always would leave during the credits. I'm like, Mom, Dad, what does this mean? What are these names? What are these titles? What is this? Nobody
Yeah.
could ever give me an answer. And I remember thinking, like I used to say as a kid, like I want to be a movie star when I grow up. But I knew I couldn't act. I knew I couldn't dance. I knew I wasn't going to be in front of the camera, but I didn't know what was happening behind the scenes. So fast forward for me to see my name at 19 in the credits of Candyman, that was a big deal.
Yeah.
Just like even now today, knowing the trials and tribulations that we have to go through, I just know it's going to make it easier for the next, which is why I'm big on just doing education initiatives, which is why I'm big on just like training, whether it's doing the basic 101s of how to be a production assistant on these on these productions. So you get
Yeah.
in the room, you can stay in the room, because that's the big thing.
Hello.
It's about getting
Yeah.
people in the room and staying in the room, because I'm pretty sure that number could be way bigger. And we're not even a
Of
full
course it could
1%.
be.
We're not even a
Yeah.
full
Not
1%.
even a full one.
So
Yeah.
it's like constantly having to fit under this idea of knowing you're going to be the only Black person in the room a lot of the times. You're going
Mm-hmm.
to deal with a lot of like ageism, sexism, racism. It's all real. All the isms are real, but it's a rewarding experience to be able to come in these rooms and prove that I belong. And not just proving to them, but proving it to myself. Getting called for jobs left and right, although it's not consistent because the industry kind of slowing down right now. But the fact that they even
Yeah.
think about me, that feels good to know. My work is
Yeah.
valued, my presence is valued, and I bring a different perspective to these spaces. And I'm just focused on growing that number. I don't want to be the only one. I think it's only like 6 Black women that's in Chicago that's a part of the union currently. I want that to be 16 by the next like 20 some years, if not way more. So
Right.
it's a lot of going back and forth, but it's rewarding at the ending of it.
Speaking of the education piece, it does seem like that's really important to you in the work that you do, especially with your own business, which we'll definitely get into. But I also saw that you're an instructor at True Star Media.
Yeah,
Um,
I was part
oh, you,
time.
okay, you were. How
Yeah.
is that? What kind of things did you do? Was it related to cinematography? Can you let us in on
Absolutely.
that?
So to start off, why education initiatives are so like big to me, because True Star was my first home when it comes to just like being an artist. I started True Star Foundation back when I was 14 years old, and True Star introduced me to just being a journalist, being just a media person. I had radio shows with True Star. I had so much, and they're the reason that connected me to other filmmaking programs. Another one called Fresh Films is who I currently work for. But with
Mm,
True Star in particular, I helped create a 6-week cinematography program. It really focused on the basic fundamentals of making a film, a short film, but from a DP's perspective, going down to the shot listing, going down to breaking down the script, going down to building your camera package, down to the lens, down to the technicalities, down to frames, composition, why a certain shutter speed and frames per second might work better, and just basically challenging the young people that I had to just think from a visual standpoint, because I'm a visual artist.
mm-hmm.
I want people to be
Right.
able to pick up a camera, whether it's an iPhone or a Sony FX3 or even a Sony Venice, and just get an idea of how can I get this story told and convey the story through these certain shots and these elements. And that was a great experience. So after I jump around, one thing about Kayla, I love to
Yeah.
spread my information everywhere. So after working with True Star, I'm currently teaching at Roosevelt University accelerated program through Fresh Films Foundation, which is so cool.
Okay.
And fingers crossed, Illinois Media School is coming up. We're in talks for some things, but my goal is just to spread seeds. I call them planting seeds. I'm planting seeds
Mm-hmm.
in different programs across just the city of Chicago right now. Hopefully, more cities, and I'm watering
Yeah.
them. I'm watering them, and I'm watching them grow. And between the last like 4 to 5 years of me doing these education initiatives, I see the progress being made. I see people coming up to me like, hey Kayla, you telling me X, Y, and Z has really benefited me in this area. And I
Mm.
don't do a good enough job of like tallying up all the benefits of the program, but I just want to make sure people like get it. Like, I'm not, this is very selfless of me. I'm really just trying to pour into as many people as possible with my workshops, and just like, hey, what can you take away from this that can be applied to your career?
Yeah, I mean, because we want these numbers of Black women in the rooms for literally any department to increase. So I really appreciate when that you shouted out all these different programs. One thing I love about Chicago is we love a program.
Oh
I was a
God.
part of Free Spirit Media
Yeah.
and Free Spirit Pro, and then I did a program called Cine Arts, which got me into Cinespace Chicago and into my film work. And when I read that you were a True Star Media instructor, I was like, oh my God, like, of course, like, this is how people like us from the places we from, I'm from out west,
Okay.
how we find our way into our creative fields and like knowing how to make it a job.
Exactly.
Like, similar to you, it's like I've always been interested in image making. I just didn't know how to make it a job. I didn't know that it was a job for real for a minute. And it's like, how do people do this? I have no idea. Like,
Yeah.
is it really just taking pictures of my friends? And like, wow, like some of that personal play is absolutely necessary for anybody's creative journey. I think one thing that I will always support about Chicago is that there are so many programs for us to participate in, and then, like you are right now, give back to and put the next generation on.
Yes. And it's crazy because when I started to travel more, visit other cities and make friends in other cities, people are like, they're flabbergasted. They're like, Kayla, how did you do it? You young as hell doing all of this. How are you
Yeah,
able to do it? Because of these programs. I didn't realize how blessed we were. Like, Chicago
yeah,
kids, we kind of had it good. If you especially are an artist in Chicago from 2014 all the way on up, this is all I've had. This is all I've known.
yeah,
And shout out to True Star, shout out to Free Spirit Media. I never got the chance to work with them yet, but they're amazing. Fresh
yeah.
Films Foundation, Cinecares, the list could go on.
Remescla.
Yes, there's so many,
It's a
John
couple
Wall
other people.
Foundation. Like,
True. How could I forget? Shout out to John Wall Foundation.
yes, there's so many dope organizations that are out there that I'm excited for the next generation to take advantage of. But I
Hmm.
want to be that mentor that helped me get to where I am today. I want to be that mentor for somebody else, because I promise you, the art saved my life. These programs saved my life.
True.
I wouldn't be sitting here. And I got, like, he know I wouldn't be sitting here doing what I do right now if it weren't for people seeing something in me early on, and pouring into
Hmm.
me. So I want to pour that into somebody else.
Come on. A word at the top. Come on, Kayla. I mean, since we talk about that, let's go ahead and get into it.
Mhm.
You have an incredible business called Beauty Beyond,
Yes, beauty beyond the
Beauty
lens.
Beyond the Lens. And I want to pull up both your website and your Instagram. And
Okay.
while I do that, can you tell the people a little bit about your company?
Yeah, so Beauty Beyond the Lens LLC is a video production company primarily focused on just creating liberated projects, bringing them to life. So if you have an idea that you would like to be turned into a reality, you contact me and we'll set up that consultation. We'll figure out how we can make that happen. So I work with a lot of different just organizations. I work with a lot of artists. I work with a lot of companies. So I have a big range of clientele, as you can see. And it's just exciting. It feels good to just be a paid artist. People come to me, they trust my vision,
Mm-hmm.
they trust my production company, they trust what we can bring to life. And yeah, it feels good. So at the same time of me doing this production work, I still find a way to bring people from my education initiatives on my set so they can get paid to work and get experience at the same time.
Which I love. And there's always a bunch of Chicago artists in here, like Brittany Carter.
Yeah.
Um, this Chicago artist, I'm so sorry, I'm forgetting his name, but I'm familiar with him too.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that you keep it what to me feels like in the family, where it's like
Yeah.
there's just like a bunch of other Chicago artists
Yeah.
collaborating together to create a vision. And I really appreciate that.
Because it's like growing up, because I told you my pops, my stepdad, he was big in the Chicago scene, and he was in the eras where it was real tough being an artist in the city. Everybody was like on
Mm,
this dog eat dog mentality. And I'm pretty sure a lot of people growing up had the same experience from their peers, their mentors. So now it's like, okay, it's up to us to be the next generation to bridge that gap. Let's be the ones to fix whatever narrative that was set before. Granted, you still got some bad apples in the bunches, but it's up to you to decide if you want to eat them or not. So it's like, move around. So I let it go towards the people that pour into me, and I could pour into them. And I'm big on just like, hey, you trust the vision, I trust it too. Let's make something dope then. And
Yeah.
it's been getting us this far, and we gonna keep going.
Yes. Do you have a favorite avenue or even just like a specialty avenue in terms of like commercial or narrative work?
That's a good question. I really love music videos. That's like more on the passion side
Mm,
of things. Outside of music videos, I really enjoy doing corporate videos. I'm just helping a business and a brand bring their story to life. I've worked
mm-hmm.
with the city of Champaign. They were a client of mine last summer. And I
Oh,
have a
nice.
current client with the University of Illinois, CREA. They have a conference coming up that I'll be working with. And just like helping them recap what it is that they've been doing for the public, because it's always great things. It's always great things, but it's like, of course, social media, they don't get to see that side of these corporate type of worlds. So the goal is just to always bridge that gap, give them something on the creative side visually that they're looking for, but then also too,
Mm-hmm.
I get to still be the artist that I am at the same time. So it's like it's a win-win. They walk away feeling happy with professional work, and then at the same time, I feel good that I can add that to the portfolio.
Yeah. I'm waiting for this to load.
Yeah, it's taking a little
I
minute.
It's okay too. I really want to get into how you choose to work with some of the people you choose to work in,
Hmm.
or excuse me, to work with. For example, like your corporate clients. Can you let us know what are the signifiers that you look for
Hmm.
that tell you that this is a project worth working on, that this is a project for you, and that you think you do a good job on?
First of all, it's always about the budget for me. I got to know what we're working
Okay.
with. What's in the guidelines?
Literally, what can we do with that
What can we
money?
do? Because we can have some crazy imaginations and some crazy ideas, but how can we bring this to life?
Right.
Outside of the budget, I go based off of this is gonna sound crazy, but energy, based off of the relationship, the rapport. What is your following like? Who is behind you? What are your missions, your goals, your company's values? And then I do a consultation, and then I get to see the vibe of the actual company themselves, and the people behind it. So who will be the project manager that I will be working with closely? Can we get along with each other? Are we gonna butt heads?
Hmm.
Is this gonna be a problem? Because still being a woman, a young black woman in this industry, whether it's union or non-union, I still be having some confliction with people because people can't wrap their mind. They can't understand Kayla. They just can't understand. So it's like some
Mm,
people don't take me seriously until the work is presented or until it's crunch time. So I'm big on just like if I don't feel good about a project, I will say no from a project. I have
good.
walked away from projects, whether it's been corporate or narrative work. I will walk away from it if necessary. But outside of that, I just see it through. Honestly, I just see it through, and my discernment is everything. Thank God I have not been put in a circumstance where my safety is at risk or my crew's safety is at risk. And if I
Truly.
was, I've walked away from them and I knew when to walk
Mm.
away.
Yeah, that's important before you even get in that situation. Can we take a pause here and talk a little bit more about how you navigate conflict?
Hmm.
As a cinematographer, this is largely, especially if you're not also directing, this is largely your crew. And like you said, like you're responsible for these people on set, you're responsible for the vision of the outcome of the result that you guys are hoping for.
Yeah.
But when you're in a moment like that, can you give some gems for people who might be still in beginning stages and not know how to navigate potential conflict? Or like,
Yeah.
if somebody is questioning your capability, it's like, first of all, like, bro, you already hired me. Like,
Right. It's like, come on
why?
now.
This don't make no sense actually. But like, literally though, how do you navigate those situations? Like, what are good things to say? What are
Hmm.
good practices to have maybe internally,
Mm.
especially for another Black woman in your
Yes.
same situation?
Breathe. Oh my God. Breathe. Take a
Okay.
breather. That sounds crazy, but people in this business, they feel comfortable with just going. You will
Hmm.
hear the craziest things. I've had people snatch things out my hands. I've had people get in my face and scream at me. But as a black woman in our society, you don't have the right to react the way that you want to react. And it's
Mm.
unfortunate, but take a breather. Take a couple, I call them pauses. Pause for a little bit, take a deep breath, and then ask a follow-up question. Don't try to throw no digs. Don't try to be sassy. Don't try to do insults. My therapists have been working greatly with me with trying to do a poker face. So just like keep it straight. Don't, because like it'll be times where if you know me, like really know me, I will wear my emotions on my face. I'll make a little frown
Yeah.
here and there, but I'm learning people get intimidated by that, and then some people
Mm-hmm.
feel ways, and then also too learning to have uncomfortable conversations. So if there's something that you see that is raising a constant concern, it's okay to voice that, but pull the people to the side. Don't do it in front of nobody else. Pull people to the
Yeah.
side, talk to that person one on one, have witnesses. Have witnesses. Have everything in writing. Have everything in writing. Have witnesses. If you can't have it in writing, have at least a witness standing next to you so they can validate what's being said and done. Um, and yeah, don't stand your ground. Don't let nobody manipulate you. Don't let nobody gaslight you. And just like in terms of actual keywords, if somebody is saying something to you that you know it don't make sense, sometimes people get their emotions up too much and they can't
Mm-hmm.
they can't comprehend what they're saying. Repeat it to them. Be like, oh, so you're telling me X, Y, and Z. Are you
Is
confirming
that what you mean?
that's what you
Yeah,
mean?
like confirm with it.
Okay, cool. So here's what I need to do to address X, Y, and Z. And yeah, don't let nobody talk to you crazy. Don't let nobody, that don't mean get buck with them, because you know I'm from the east side. I really could get there, but I try not to show that in these spaces. So it's like I learned to just walk away. And then also too, take everything with a grain of salt. If somebody is saying something to you, hear them. You don't have to take it all the way, but just hear their feedback. Constructive criticism is key, and then working in this business, it's a lot of collaboration, so that's why it's big to be mindful of like who it is that you're working with, because you never know, you could do all the pre-production that you want, you could do all the prepping that you want, but when it's time to do those 20-hour days, to do those 16, 18, 8-hour days, regardless, you need to
For
be
7 days straight.
like, everybody gonna crunch, people gonna fold, and you're gonna see it. It's just about how do you adapt in these environments.
Yeah. I mean, we're dealing with just truly it's human adaptability, and
Mm-hmm.
some of us can do it better than others, and that's not shade at all, but when you're running the crew, it is largely your responsibility to see it and then know how to respond to it. I really appreciate that feedback, especially I think a lot of Chicago women are very emotive. My partner describes it as being like, you're very facially expressive. And I definitely had to work on that.
Just like, all right, cool, you
But
got it.
just, okay.
And then like even I had a moment not long ago working with a director, writer, producer, actor on a project
Mm,
that I was deep in, and it was a lot. It was a lot. And then trying to like have a conversation about the logistics, about how okay, X, Y, and Z is failing because you doing blah blah blah. Like, can we figure out a common
mm.
ground? And he started talking crazy to me, and I every bit of me is like, oh, I want to turn up, but I can't lash out. So I just started to look around, and as I'm looking around the room, I'm looking at the reactions of the people too, because that means I'm confirming you are hearing this, you're seeing this,
You saw it. You saw it. Okay.
and I'm just doing this, and he's like, yeah, you can look around the room all you want, you can. Da, da, da. I was like, that's really telling me I don't need to be here.
Oh.
Cool, cool.
Wow, like he really wowed on
He was
you.
like, "You could get out of here." Listen, another conversation for another day because we didn't record it. But he know what's
Okay.
up. He know what's up.
Jeez, and like those are the situations though that you really would get put in.
Mhm.
And I mean, that's not even talking about the microaggressions of just being a woman or just being a black woman or being the only black person, period,
Yeah,
on set or in the space, and like the different things we experience there. And girl, I commend you for navigating that.
yeah. It's one step at a time because my
True.
mama always tell me like, "Kayla, it's bigger than you. Every job that I take on,
Hmm.
everything that I do, is bigger than me. It's going to make an impact, whether if not now, then later." And I just want to do the best that I can at whatever job I get taken on. You know?
Hmm. Which makes me think more about your company again, and how you work these sets in these days. And I'm curious, as a cinematographer, but for your own company, also like creative director, this is
Mhm.
your whole brainchild out into the world. There's a lot of business behind it.
Yes.
Outside of maybe like crew and budget, what are the differences in your approach for creating for Beauty Beyond the Lens
Mhm.
versus creating on uh, multi-million dollar set
Right. That's a
like
great
Candyman?
question. That's a great question. So the main reason why I started Beauty Beyond the Lens is because I was getting contracted work a lot, just as a
Mm-hmm.
cinematographer or creative director. And I'm like, okay, I might as well LLC this. So when I was working on union sets, whenever I do work on union sets, you're hired to do one thing and one thing only. So if you're hired to be a utility or a loader or camera assistant, you're there to do that. You have no creative input. And then working
Right.
on those sets, it's like I'm learning a lot. Don't get me wrong. I'm learning so many different things, but when I produce my own sets, I bring all those elements that I'm learning into my own world. Although the budgets may be very smaller compared to those big productions, I still want to continue to carry that level of professionalism. But I also too want to allow people to have some creative input in between. So if I'm producing a music video and let's say I'm not even directing and I have somebody else directing and I'm DPing it, because we also too Beauty Beyond the Lens, I like to pass the torch around. So hey, if you want to be a producer, you want to DP, you want to direct, let me know, we can make something work. Because working in these union worlds, like I said, you're there for one thing and one thing only. It's like you have
Yeah.
to be the fly on the wall, you have to speak when spoken to, and your job is to focus on one thing and one thing only. So which is why I'm glad you brought up earlier about collaborating with other Chicago artists. It's like you can't get your foot in the door unless you do the work. So I look at this as like, hey, we're getting in the field. So yeah, we can't always wait on the next Candyman to pop up. Let's create our own version of it right now and work our way up towards it.
Yeah. It's really creating your own opportunity.
Yeah.
Um, and that makes me think and go back to this initiative you have with Beyond the Lens that I want to pull up called Visionaries in
Yep.
Motion
Yeah.
initiative. I want to read just the first little sentence here, but I definitely want you to talk about it's an educational filmmaking project designed to support aspiring filmmakers through a comprehensive workshop series.
Hmm.
Can you let us know like a little more about it and how people can get involved with it? And let me pull it up real
Absolutely.
quick.
So if you visit beautybeyondthelens.com, there's a community tab. I would really encourage you to go and fill out that questionnaire. Very soon, we are collaborating. This is going to be the first announcement. Ooh, we're
Ah!
collaborating with an organization called Sisters in Cinema. They are based here.
Oh my God, I know
Yeah,
Sisters in Cinema.
they're based here on the east side of Chicago, and Sisters in Cinema has been a great resource just to bridge the gap of female filmmakers, no matter what, and non-binary filmmakers, no matter what background or where you come from. It's a safe space to come and get education values. And then Visionaries in Motion is just like another brainchild of mine where, okay, I'm serious about getting these workshops put out there. I'm serious about bridging these gaps between filmmakers and people who want to get into this industry or just learn more.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a workshop series coming up very soon, Visionaries in Motions, Sisters in Cinema. Our writing workshop series will be taught by Edwards. Courtney Edwards is a writer, producer. She's amazing. Worked with MTV and all these different companies. And then we
Her name
have
sounds familiar.
for our editing, no, I'm sorry, not our editing. For our directing workshop series, we have I'm sorry, my computer just started tripping. Oh, for our directing
Okay.
workshop series, we have Chan Smith. Chan is a Emmy Award winning,
Oh, I
yes,
know Chan. Hey.
CDP. And the goal is for me to continue to do these workshops under different umbrellas, but have industry professionals teaching the courses. So it's not just Kayla
Nice.
giving all her insight, because Kayla's still figuring it out too. So it's just, I want this to be just something everybody can have access to. The goal is to continue to keep them going, whether they're virtual, whether they're in person. But the first real workshop series will be through Sisters in Cinema pretty soon. And yeah, if you want details, I encourage you, go to that website, submit your info in our questionnaire, and you will be getting an email very soon. Very soon.
Oh my God, that's so beautiful. This also reminds me how you was like, it's only 6 Black women in the union that are based in Chicago,
Mhm.
and I imagine Chan is probably one of them.
I hope she's local 600. I hope so, because that's also
I
too. There's a misconception where you have to be a union cinematographer to be, because technically in the union I'm classified as a digital loader. So meaning I
okay,
load the footage in and out of the cameras. I communicate with production houses and all of that. Although too, I am technically a second AC. Like I get work as a
right,
camera assistant.
yeah,
It just tells you about the hierarchy within our business. It's like you get in these worlds, you're limited, but then when you're not in these worlds, you can actually do what it is that you want to do. So
mm-hmm.
I play both sides. I go in my non-union world, so the indie scene is what we call it. So the indie world, I'm a cinematographer. Union world, camera assistant loader. So it's like it
I
depends.
mean, you really have to. Just like you said, it's like if you want to really make the projects you want to make, you can't just stick on one side of the fence. And if you have the opportunity or privilege to do both, why wouldn't you? You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
I
It's like
just
all of it is just gaining experience for
It's
real.
all experience. And I want to touch on this a little bit. It's like a constant struggle dealing with people in both sides of things, whether it's independent or just union world. They often want to put you in a box. They often want to tell you what you should and should not be doing. I've had many people tell me that you're not a cinematographer because you don't promote yourself or market yourself properly.
Mm,
Or I've had people say that, oh, you're only a camera assistant, like stick to it. Or you look like you are a jack of all trades and you don't know what it exactly is that you want to do. And it's like, who are you to tell me what it is that I can and cannot do? And then these are the same people who are stuck in one lane and one thing only, and they're not doing great
mm.
themselves. So people will
Or
constantly,
doing what they want to do.
exactly, people will project their own insecurities onto you. And I'm just learning to have this tunnel vision of just like, just keep doing your thing, keep doing you,
Yeah, there you go.
Kayla.
And while we mention it, let me bring up the IMDb right quick,
Oh
because
no, I gotta
you
update
saw
it.
a little bit of the
Yeah,
portfolio on Beauty Beyond the Lens, and this would be the union portfolio here. And
yes,
like Kayla just said, it's not even fully
I gotta
updated.
update it,
You know what I'm
man. Look,
saying?
pop my collar a little bit.
Okay, but like I
Yeah,
pull that up to say legitimately it's all experience, and there are some people that are just playing on one side of the fence. And like we said earlier, it's like, why wouldn't you play both?
why
Why wouldn't you
not?
try to do the whole thing? Especially
Yes,
like if all you wanted to be was a digital loader, okay, cool.
do that.
Then just do that. There's no problem with that. But if you also want to try some second AC, or you want to try a whole different department,
Do
when I was
it.
doing film stuff, I wasn't in camera department because I wanted to try art department. I had like a different vision for things over there. So I'm like, let me jump over here. If you get the opportunity to do a thing, just do the thing.
Do it. Say yes. Never say no to an
Okay?
opportunity unless like you really like, nah, I can't do it. Say yes.
Right.
You never know where it'll take you. You never know what you may learn from it. And just do it. I have so many peers that are stuck to one position and one position only. And they're like, Kayla, how are you doing it? Kayla, it's like, just do it, man. Go pick up the camera and go shoot something. Get in the
Okay.
field. Just go shoot. Come on.
Get in the booth,
Nigga, the
bitch.
food. Come on. That's exactly what it feels like. Just do it.
Oh my God. Well, with that being said, let us take a quick break, real quick. We'll be right back with the next segment. Today's episode is brought to you by Art House, the first Black owned film lab in the city of Los Angeles. All my photography homies love Art House because they specialize in C41, black and white, E6, and ECN2 processing for both 35 millimeter and medium format film, all while using a custom built cinema scanner to get you those stunning movie quality stills. So go pick up and drop off a roll at their new location in Chinatown, and check them out at arthousefilmlab.com or arthousefilmlab on IG and tell them we sent you. And we're back. Let's get into the next segment.
Yes.
I want to talk a little bit about imagination.
Mm.
I started this segment because of this book I read called Photographs Not Taken,
Ooh.
which is a collection of essays of photographers who talk about the photographs that they wish they would have taken.
Mm.
And it's one of my favorite things. One of my homies sent it to me because it's a thing I just talk about. I see images all day long as I'm just living, but some of them really stick with me, and I think about them all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm curious, do you have a favorite photograph that you haven't taken, or in that way, like a favorite video scene in your mind that you want to create?
In my brain, every time I get in a plane, I always think like, how beautiful would it be if we can get a shot of the plane just like taking off and landing, but
Mm-hmm.
during golden hour. So my favorite, I love a good sunset. Oh,
Oh my
I
God, me
love a
too.
good sunset. Give me the pinks, give me the
And the
purples.
oranges and the
Oh,
purples,
I
yes.
needed to reflect inside the clouds. I want to see it on the water. I just love it.
Mm-hmm.
So I try to, and I don't know why I keep doing it, but every time I get on the plane, I always purposely like try my best to schedule my flights around golden hour just so I can get that embarrassment
Come
of it. Just
on.
like,
A
oh,
cinematographer. Come
right? It's
on.
like I love it. I'm cool with it. But I'll pull my phone out and I'll record. The people around me be hating it. I don't care. But I'll put the
Because
phone
I'm leaving the shade up
on God.
and I'm finna get this sunset.
We
I
gonna get
don't
it.
give a fuck.
And I do it every time. And although it may not come out what I envisioned it to do, because the camera only do so much from a commercial flight, it's just
Yeah.
like I think about that all the time. Just being in the sky, it just feels so freeing. It just feels so liberating.
Mm-hmm. Oh my God. Yes, I completely agree. I'm definitely the friend that's like, oh my God, like texting people, like look at the sunset or look at the moon.
Yeah,
Like I'm always looking up.
I love that. Oh, I can't wait for summertime shot because you in LA, so I know it's a little bit nice out there. Chicago, I'm
Yeah.
waiting, waiting.
But there's nothing like a Chicago summer. I love
Yeah,
Chicago in the summertime.
are you coming back home soon?
I am actually. I'm coming back this month.
Okay, turn up.
Gotta
It's
visit some family.
all
Exactly. It's not
right.
gonna be hot.
This ain't not
I
at
mean, I
all.
don't know. The way climate change been working, every time I talk to my family, especially around the wintertime, they like, it's actually kind of nice outside today.
It was
It's
60
getting
degrees
spooky,
yesterday. It was 60
you know?
degrees. So I'll give it to
It's getting spooky.
him.
But I ain't mad at it at the same time. It's like, damn, this is kind of sad. But also 60 degrees in Chicago
In March?
in the winter?
What?
Or what?
What?
Come on.
I'll take it.
I pray for times like this.
Look, I'm here.
For my photograph not taken, I actually asked my dad this question so I can have more examples. And I was also just curious about people who aren't technically image makers and what they might be thinking about. And so I wanted to share my dad's. He said there was this time me and my older sister were learning how to ride bikes without the training wheels. And it was really beautiful to watch him reminisce on, because he like, man, like y'all was taking it like some champs, y'all crashing in the gates, y'all falling down and just immediately getting back up. And he was like, I really wish I could have photographed like some of those moments in there to just always have it physically.
That's
And I was like,
beautiful.
damn, I wish more of my childhood was photographed too, where it's like, but
Yeah.
those moments, not just like, oh, it's a holiday or something and we got on something nice. Like, y'all get together, take a picture in front of the plant or something like that.
Yeah.
But like those moments where we were just outside playing and, scraping our knees,
That's
I
sweet.
wish I had that photo too. So I
That's
just wanted to
love.
share
Shout
that
out to
one.
your dad for sharing that.
Shout
That's
out to my
beautiful.
dad.
Yes.
It's really cute. This man listens every week and calls me right after the episode comes on and be like, okay, here's what I think about this guest.
All right, Dad. I hope you like me, okay? Don't be
Right.
grilling me, Pops, okay? So I don't
It's
like what
actually
she.
right when he gets to frying one of my guests or something. No, he's actually been like very gracious to everybody. It's
That's
really
sweet.
cute. He's like, oh my God, I love her. She was so impactful. She seems so smart. It's been the sweetest little thing.
That's
So
sweet.
shout out to my daddy.
Yeah. Shout out to the parents who see something in their children and pour into them.
Okay.
That's love.
He gonna love this. Oh my God. Okay, moving on to our next segment. It's called The Gear Don't Matter. But I personally love this segment because everybody want to tell photographers, and I say this every episode that, the only thing that matters really is the camera, what camera you're using, what camera you're using. And that isn't the case because we would all be taking the same photo if we was, and we don't.
Absolutely.
So I want to talk about, though, the things we do love about our gear because they work for us and with us. So I'm interested. What's your favorite piece of equipment that you use? It doesn't have to be a camera. It could be anything.
That's a great question. Okay. Is it okay to have multiple? Multiple?
Absolutely.
Okay. So I shoot and own a Sony FX3 right now. I love that
Mm-hmm.
little camera. I have the same Cinema Prime lenses. It's Rokinon Cine lenses. I've had those since I was 16. I started filmmaking when I was 16 years old. And I
Mm-hmm.
built upon that package. And I like it because stylistically it's much different than a lot of other creators compared to like everybody using the same I don't know, DZO lenses and all of that. Everybody has a
Yeah.
certain look that is repetitive, and I like the fact that my work stands out. And then
Yeah.
what else? I'm currently using this Sony Handycam camera. I
Yes.
love, if you go and look at a lot of my like creative work, just on the experimental side of things, especially music videos. I shoot a lot of my videos just with VHS cameras or digital cameras,
Yes.
just to give
I
you.
love some VHS work.
It's like very old school, just aesthetic, and it's just different compared to doing presets. Because I love to edit,
Mm.
don't get me wrong, but the presets and the grains, they too artificial compared to getting the real deal done. And last but not least, this is my go-to DP journal. It is
Oh
a
my
Panavision
gosh.
Hollywood journal, and when I first got it, it was blank, but now I have like almost, it's
Yes.
almost full. I'm proud of that. But everything down to
Yes.
all my projects, I write them out, like everything. Oh, that was my
I
bookmark.
love a good used journal. Like it
Yes.
really feels like how you said, like I accomplished all of these ideas and the proof is physical right here in my
Yeah.
journal.
And it's beautiful just to look back like, dang, I did all of this. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
This was, I think, in a 2 year span, this whole journal.
Wow.
And just going back to, yeah, I got some stuff back from 2023 up in here. So it's just exciting to see that growth. I have a brand new one that's about to get opened up. The first
Come
thing that
on.
I just wrote down that I'm ready to start studying, like my biggest dream in life is to create
Mm-hmm.
a lens. I want to build a cinematic lens. So I'm
Ooh.
learning about different like aberrations, so like spherical coma, astigma, like astigmatism, distortion, field
I get
curvature,
that.
like all of that type of stuff. I'm just learning right now. I'm a geek in real life. I'm really a
Yeah.
geek. So
Oh my God. I wonder if a black woman has already made a cinematic lens before.
that's
And
a
if
good
not,
question.
how crazy that would be to be able to buy a black made and owned lens.
That's a good question. I know the tribe, if you look up Tribe 7, I can't remember, the DP is blanking. It's a black man. Oh my gosh, they're gonna hate me if I don't know this off the top of my head. I'm gonna look it up
Let's
too.
see. Okay, yeah.
Tribe 7, Tribe Wing Black. Yes, Tribe 7 Black Wing. It was created by a black cinematographer who is very popular. He's the GOAT.
It's
Bradford
Bradford
Young.
Young.
Bradford Young, he's a part of the American Society of Cinematographers. And Neil Fathom. Yeah, Neil Fathom. They created like it's a motion picture and like lens type of, it's just gorgeous. The coding, I'm a big nerd for a nice lens that is
Mm-hmm.
great for black skin. I first got the
Mm-hmm.
chance to work with the lens and see them like one on one working. I want to say season 1 and 2 of Power Book Force, working with the DP Jody Williams, another amazing cinematographer, black man.
And you were using the Blackwing?
Yeah, we were using those on set,
Mm.
and I want to say season 2. If not season 2, then season 1. But those are gorgeous, and just seeing how they play nice on black skin. I want to say they have this nice coating, like a blue coating, if I'm not mistaken. But according
Mm-hmm.
to Google, they have like a unique type of bouquet. It's like a vintage type of aesthetic. Like I would love to create a special type of lens that will just be on the more warm side, contrast. Bless you.
Thank you.
Anything that's just like I just want to test around and just see where it would go.
Yeah.
Yeah, my brain just be going.
Man, I love this idea. I'm definitely adding all these names and Seven is a Tribe and the
Okay.
Black Wing Lens to the descriptions because just from reading like a little bit on their website, I'm amazed. I can't believe I haven't heard about this
Yes.
before. Thank you so much for putting this on.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
This is very cool.
I love studying different lenses. I love studying different artists who just create things on their own.
Hmm.
I love being a student. I just love being a student. YouTube
Same.
University.
Being a student of life is so beautiful.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see and use your lens.
We
I
gonna
know it's gonna
manifest
happen.
it.
This shit gonna be crazy.
Gonna manifest it, baby. Oh my gosh. I don't know
Exactly.
when, how, or what is gonna happen though. We just gonna speak it into existence.
True, and something gonna come of it. Like it has to be a whole exhibition or something. Like
Yeah.
it's gonna be crazy.
Oh man, I'm excited for my journey. I tell you,
Okay,
Dochi said it best, but she was, and I live by it. She's like, God is blindfolding her and taking her hand and walking her through every room, and that's what I feel like. God has
come
placed
on.
me in so many different spaces, have introduced me to so many amazing people, and I'm just here like, hey, help me fulfill my purpose so I can do right by you. I just want to fulfill my purpose and just go where I need to go. I don't know where that is. I don't know what it look like. I'm just floating. I'm floating, but I'm blessed.
That's so beautiful. Do you mind if I ask? It's okay if this is too much.
Hmm.
If I ask how do you bring your spirituality on set, or do you even do that?
I try not to, out of respect of other people. I don't know
Hmm.
what religions they may practice. I try not to make anybody feel uncomfortable.
Hmm.
But I do go based off of like energy. I am a spiritual person before anything. If I feel as if somebody has a dark cloud over them, a dark aura, if your glow is just real, we're gonna have a conversation to see how can we make it better for now to get through the set, to get through the day. And it's been times where I've worked on $1 million production, and I've worked with a lot of bad clouds, a lot of dark auras,
Hmm.
and you gotta put them headphones in if you were allowed to put your headphones in, or taking time for yourself. I am a queen for napping during lunch. I will go find somewhere
Okay.
and nap during lunch, meditate. And then having discernment. Discernment is everything. And it's crazy because just like as that frontal lobe started to connect and open up, God has been giving me a lot of signs of confirmation that my discernment has been right on a lot of things and a lot of people and their
Mm,
character. It's just knowing when to go be in that world, but then when to leave it at the door when you come back home. Like you can't bring that back home with you.
yeah, that's super real. And one thing working in film gonna teach you how to do is be good at taking naps, man.
Hmm.
Like, if you only got 30 minutes, you gonna know how to use them 30.
Man, I had a hammock when I was working on set. I have a portable hammock, and I will attach it. If
Yeah,
I'm
I know
outside,
that's right.
I'll find a tree. I latch it onto the tree to tree, hop in the hammock, take a nap, swing back and forth, or on the camera
Okay,
truck, hang up my hammock, taking a nap.
I love it. Well, beautiful. Thank you for answering it.
Hmm.
Um, and here, last but not least, is our last segment called "Shoot Your Shot."
Okay,
And this is the moment where I would love to dream out loud with you a little
I
bit.
would
And
love
I'm
that.
curious, who is somebody or a company that you would love to photograph or work for?
Oh,
Well, I guess for you, not necessarily photograph, but shoot.
yeah, that's a great question. The first thing that just came to mind, anything TDE. I love TDE. Just the whole
Oh,
they
period.
raw. They raw. Oh my gosh. Just like the aesthetics that they bring, the aura. I would love to work with, I don't know, Beyonce. Like who wouldn't want to work with
Hello.
Beyonce? I got the chance to like I'll briefly talk about it. Like I got the chance to work as a first AC for Vice President Kamala Harris last year during her campaign.
Oh,
Got to meet
cool.
her. That was a great experience. So I'm like, okay, if I could do that, I could do anything. Um,
True.
who else is coming to mind? Just like I want to do more motion pictures. I want to do more feature
Mm.
film work. I just want more. I want to be able to have a trophy wall. I want an Emmy. I want a Grammy for documentary work because people don't know that's a
Come
thing.
on.
I just want to do more. Just bigger, but keep it black, big and black. I want all the big black artists, the big black names.
Yes.
Like I'm rooting for everybody that's black.
Thank you, Issa Rae, for the word. When she said that, she really spoke to all of us.
Better
We
yet,
was
I want to
like,
work with Issa
literally.
Rae. I want to work with Issa
Okay.
Rae. Hooray Media. Oh my God. I would love to be a part of that in some way or fashion.
Yes. Okay. So TD,
Yeah.
Beyonce, maybe Kamala again,
Yeah.
and Issa Rae. I
Yep.
know y'all are listening, watching. Y'all teams are around. Get Kayla on the line. All right.
I produce, I
Before it's too
direct,
late.
I DP, you need me to AC, I do tell me what to do and I'll do it.
Come
Let
on.
me show up.
Exactly.
Let me show up, okay?
I love it. Oh my
Yeah.
God, Kayla, thank you so much for speaking with me
Thank
today.
you for having me. I'm so
Girl,
excited for both our journeys. We gonna collaborate. I
same.
I feel great.
Oh, I see it.
I feel something coming.
I see it. And I'm always like I said, I can't shut up about it. Anytime I get an opportunity to work with another Black woman from Chicago
Mhm.
who's doing the type of work that we're doing, it's like a no brainer for me. Like, I
Absolutely.
want to be involved. So
And
let's do
then
it. Can you let the people know where you would like to be found?
okay. So yes, y'all can Google me, Kayla Sullers.
Period. Just Google her. She popped right up.
You can Google Kayla Sullers. I'm one of one, okay? My Instagram is Kayla Simone, so KaylaCymonee. Visit beautybeyondtl.com. That's Beauty Beyond the Lens. That's my whole everything. That's my baby, my brainchild. Instagram, I said that.
Mhm.
IMDb, it's when you Google me that pops up. Email me if you want to be like book me for anything. You could book me at booking at beautybeyondtl.com. So booking with no S at beautybeyondtl.com. And yeah, man, I'm around. Shoot me a DM. You can
Yay.
follow our Instagram too, Beauty Beyond TL. That's all our ats on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, whatever the case may be.
Beautiful. I got all that down. So just in case you missed it, you don't have to rewind. All of the links for everything and everybody we talked about are in the description box to make it all easy for you. Kayla, thank you again. This was so, so beautiful. I am so grateful. Like, you dropped so many gems, especially for the girls in Chicago who are maybe at a point where they're looking for programs. They don't even know that these programs existed. Like, we shouted out maybe like 5 of them today. Like,
A lot.
so I truly appreciate all the resources you dropped for everybody.
Yes.
You can follow Photographer Life Check on all the socials. We are Photographer Life Check. Please do subscribe on YouTube. We're working on our YouTube and our TikTok. It's coming along. And we're Photographer Life Check everywhere and everywhere you get your podcast. Thanks for tuning in to another episode. Have a good shoot, babies.